What's going on, guys? Michael here at 3D Print Everything, and today I wanted to talk about giveaway prints. So prints that specifically you're going to make just to give away to people. Now, these could also be sold at a market or whatever, but all these little basic stuff. So a lot of people get into 3D printing to print a snake, or to print some dragons, or maybe a shark. And these things don't cost too much on their own, as long as you don't have a bunch of failures. Each one of these in filament cost this size might only be $2 or something like that. Maybe for a longer one like this guy, in the rainbow filament, maybe this is like a $3 or $4 print. These, as far as marketing goes, when you can print out something super simple for a couple bucks and then give it away to someone, it makes a very, very big impact. And especially to the people that are delivering your filament and your mail. My brother and mom are both USPS, so they deliver mail on a daily. And I'm not sure if you're not aware, there is a common practice for certain people to give those people gifts. If you end up knowing your mailman or your regular Amazon or FedEx delivery driver, if you talk to them just a little bit, you can figure out their birthday, give it away on their birthday or near the New Year's, or just at any time, straight up. And it makes a big impact on them. And that is definitely one way for them to remember you, remember your house, and hopefully at least take care of the package on that last little step there. But it's, you're not doing it for that, because that gift, for a lot of these people delivering, they may have kids, and those gifts end up going out to their kids. I know for my delivery driver, one of my mail carriers I had, he didn't have any children, and he left that print on top of his dash of his mail truck for a very long time. And that was super cool to see. Every time that I went out, I got to see one of these little dragons that I printed out, on his dash. And some of these kind of giveaway prints that I've given away end up going on an office desk, not to a delivery driver. And other people end up seeing it and then asking years later, hey, where'd you get that? That's really cool. And then they end up plugging your name in a personal connection. I've gotten a handful of business just from giving away these little prints, and for a couple $100 worth of filament, $200 to maybe $300 worth of filament, you can print 50 to maybe 150 or more of ones this size and give them away to people, and the impact is I would say just as strong as if you had spent that money on ads on Google, if not possibly stronger, because they're going to last a lot longer. These type of prints are going to last longer than Google or anything else, so it's really worth it, in my opinion, and the response you get is amazing. Because if you're going to sell these type of deals, these type of prints at a booth, they're going to go for somewhere between $15 and $45 for some of those small ones. If you're pricing them accordingly, then yeah, they're every bit of worth, $45 to $60. So getting something that's worth 2 or 3 meals in value, even if it is just a little toy, really goes a long way to people, and they really, really appreciate it. I'm just going to roll that back a little bit so it doesn't tangle. And then some of these, like this big snake, I'm probably not going to give that big snake away. That's going to be a full $25 in filament. Like, I would have to really, really like someone and know that they would really enjoy it or show it off. Yeah, if it's going to go somewhere that I know is going to work for a marketing purpose, then I might give away, a $25 snake that ends up taking 2 days to print. But otherwise, that's going to go, over here on a shelf or something like that, where then I can display it. And when you end up getting these really cool long prints that are multicolor, they really leave an awesome impact. And when the kids walk by the shop, they see these and they're like, oh, that's so cool. And you never know when one of those ends up not just making someone's day, but being something that they come back to, years later. You can give something away to a kid, and then 5-10 years later, they're like, hey, I remember when you got me that. I'd like to get a 3D printer now. Will you teach me a class? Or hey, I remember when you bought that. Now I'm in school. and all the printers are bogged down at our school, so I need you to print me, my school project. I've had those calls, left and right. So just wanted to kind of do a quick spiel on how advantageous it can be to print some of these neat little deals. And it doesn't have to be dragons or articulated pieces. I just noticed that articulated pieces really go a long way, because a lot of people are blown away. They're like, oh, you had to put this together? And it's like, no, it just printed like that. And they're like, oh my gosh, that's magic. That's honestly, I get that a lot, that these things are magic, or and at the end of the day, it's not. It's all mechanics and just easy little connections where it just prints a little U that goes together and then another U that goes through that. I can't make that with only one hand. But yeah, it's definitely worth, in my opinion, if you get some free time on your printer, even if you're not a business, the response you get from giving a gift away is really worth it. Like it warms your heart, especially when you can be slightly hesitant. You can, hey, check this out. Hey, what do you think of this, this cool little dragon here? And, if you see them light up, if you see them hold on to it real tight, and they don't want to get it, essentially give it up, or their mom's kind of wavering on buying it, maybe you are selling them at a booth, but the mom's like, no, come on, honey, let's go. But you're like, hey, would you really like that? And they're like, yeah, I really, really would. I really would like to have this. And mom's like, nah, I don't want to spend 10 or 15 bucks. If you just say, go ahead, you can take it. That goes a long way. And you can be careful too about how you ask this, because it is absolutely against the rules to purchase reviews or to give things away for review. But you can say things like, hey, one way to show appreciation to me would be to review, my business. And every review that you can give away, every review that comes from a gift that is from someone who really appreciates it, and your only cost and investment was a few dollars, that goes a long way on your online reputation, wherever that may be. So even if it's like, hey, you got an Etsy store and you deliver a print and the kid breaks it, 3 days into having it, maybe you just offer them a free reprint in TPU, or just a free reprint in general, or reprint of a stronger print, and that'll go a long way. But be careful on how you ask for reviews, because you can't ask for reviews. So hey, if you appreciated the service, definitely let me know. Or definitely one way to show the appreciation is through giving a review on Google or Yelp. But you can do that. You just have to do it in the right way. You can't say, I'm going to give this to you if you give me a review. Don't say that. That is not the way to do this. Don't tell someone that you'll pay them to get a review. None of that. But if you can tell that someone really likes what you're doing, then yeah, that's a really easy way to just say, hey, I appreciate you for what you're doing, and here's a gift. And if you feel like you want to show appreciation, that's how you can do that. But anyways, for instance, I gave away 4 of these guys today. I just started printing them today because I had some free printers to do that. There's going to be an event with the photographer over here next week, so I wanted to create a nice bank of these that I could give away to all the kids. And there's also this cool pediatric store over there where they have a lot of different special needs kids, and I figured I'd go over there with a box of them and just say, hey, how many of these would you like? Do you want some for the office? And I'll give them probably 5 to 20 or more of them, and then I might end up trying to make a deal out of it, or a sale, and saying like, hey, if you like these, you could give these away as a part of your service to your clients, to y'all's children, and then you can just buy them from me for really cheap, and I won't charge them like $45 a piece. I might charge them 10 or 15, and I'll be able to make a little bit, but at the end of the day, that's just going to recoup my filament cost, so that I can keep on making that impact in special kids, in kids. I can make that impact to children, and it be a really good thing, so that's kind of the goal there, and why I'm printing them is for mostly this event. But every delivery driver that's come in, and I've said, hey, check this out. Do you have any kids? Would you like one of these? If not, you can, even if you don't have kids, if you're interested in anything, go for it. When I went to my haircut, my hairstylist, you know, I go to the boardroom. It's all women, and they do massages and all that stuff, so it's great. But I brought in a bunch of the prints, and I was like, hey, check out all these dragons. You know, pick one out. If you've got a kid, you know, you can have one for the kid. And all the women literally wanted ones for themselves because they were all reading a dragon book at the same time. I had no idea they were reading a book about dragons. I had no idea that all of them were reading the book and doing their own little book club, you know, at the hair salon. So they were all super appreciative that, hey, now I get to read my dragon book with the dragon on my shoulder, and I put it on my shelf. And every time I go in, you know, the hairstylist I'm using, she's got it on her shelf, so I get to see it. And you know, it's a really cool thing. So you never know, you know, just how special something like this can be, especially for us as 3D printers. You know, we can really take for granted how easy it is to know and understand how to print these things and what settings to do and what filament's cool and what printers are good or bad. You know, for other people, you know, the barrier to entry is hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So to get something off of these printers really is a value worth $20 to $50 or even hundreds of dollars. And it will also get other people into 3D printing, which I'm all about. You know, I'm here to support anybody who wants to get into 3D printing. And that's a part of why I do this, is to make this, you know, more affordable for other people, but also to help support the community of makers in general. So yeah, that's just kind of my spiel real quick. There's a lot of advantages for yourself, both that you're going to feel in your heart and in your mind, but as well as potentially in your pocketbook in the long run if you're doing this for a business. So definitely, you know, consider when you have some free time printing some cool stuff and rainbow filament and just giving it away to anybody that you run into that you feel like would appreciate it. Yeah, you know, and feel free if someone's just like, you can say, hey, you don't have to take it. Yeah, you know, you don't need to give stuff away to just everyone, but to the people who really are going to like it and appreciate it, it can make their day, and it's totally worth it. And it is too bad that this thing does not really show up in the camera that well. You know, the frame rate or whatever it is just makes it look a little choppy, but in person this looks amazing. This is super cool. Spinning LED fan, if you've never seen one before, they look amazing in person, and especially with the lights off and far away, it looks absolutely perfect. But yeah, we're gonna put the Legacy Luxury logo up there too, and my plan is to build a black box around that, so that it'll really hide the fan effect. And we'll also put probably some plexiglass in front, or at least do a black box, and we'll put it up on like the wall up here so that you'll be able to see it from the doorway real nice, and kids won't stick their fingers in it, because real young kids want to touch that just because it looks so cool. But you can ask my hand from a week ago. The little marks on my hand was from me trying to stick something on top of the fridge, and I accidentally smacked that thing. So thank goodness it didn't break. But anyways, yeah, I could talk for forever about anything. So I'm going to end this here. It's already gone on too long. But I just wanted to show you how cool some of these prints can be. And I'm going to have to do one about these Cobras, because the Cobras actually print PLA really nice. PETG pretty okay. But for giveaway prints and prints like this, it's going to be awesome. And I'll definitely have to debut this snake, because that snake's going to be really neat. And it's going to be super long. So this snake here, I printed on a small printer in just a couple of hours. And we can see that this snake literally goes up past my knee, so into my thigh on length, just from a really small printer. That file came off of this printer here. So if this printer can print that snake, how long is this one gonna be? I don't even know. But and I could make it just a little bit bigger, and I could rotate it and get the head kind of in the corner, so I could probably do another 5 or 10% on the size of that one. But I'm really excited to see how that one's going to come out. That one is a red, black, and gold filament, so it's going to be really nice. And then that one is also that one's just black and red, I believe, and that's a flame dragon, so it's going to be perfect for the flame dragon. But anyways, guys, I keep on talking too long. Have a good day. Like, share, subscribe, all the cool stuff, And comment down below if you learned something. Have a good day. Bye.